In this video, you're going to learn how to style your website and set all the global default styling so that everything's cohesive and everything fits your brand the way you like it. And so basically, let's get started. So how we would do that is we go over to this paintbrush here, which is the global styling. And then, so we've got four options here. We've got your website layout, which will determine the width of the content on your website. You see it kind of moving out and spreading out a little bit. And then we have the layout style. So right here by default is full width, so the content's going to stretch to the edge of the window. And we can also pick boxed, which will add a background to our content here as soon as it loads. And then as you can see, we've got the little space on each side. If you hit confirm, you'll see that each side, it kind of gives that little design aspect there. And then our box background, this is where we can set the background to your website. So there's a couple textures, there's a black, there's that, and then this plus button here is where you can add your own images, add your own texture, add your own background image, etc. And this will be consistent across your entire website. So we'll hit confirm, and then the next thing we want to go over is the color palette. So it's pretty important to set this up first when you're building your website, so that as you're building, everything sort of just falls in line and you don't have to take any extra steps to style things. So this is our primary color. So this is basically the theme color that will be used all over your website. And then these are your secondary colors, which you want to have quick access to these colors when you're styling different things because they fit your brand, and that's pretty much the purpose of it. So if we were to style this button, it'll bring up our secondary colors as well as our primary color, right? So everything that we style, we just boom. Any color picker will it'll bring up our primary color there, right? So we want to set all this up first so that it kind of speeds things up when you're designing your website. And then if we were to change this primary color, it's going to change every element that has the primary color to that color. So as you can see, these buttons were blue, they became orange. The outline was blue, now it's orange, right? This was blue, now it's orange. So it really speeds up everything. You can play around with different colors, and you will see it in real time how it looks. Thirdly is our global font. So it's definitely a good idea to only use 1 to 2 fonts throughout your entire website. Maybe have your paragraphs, your default text be a certain font, and then your header be another font. But I definitely suggest 1, at most 2 fonts for your entire website. So here's where you can add different fonts. It's integrated with Google Fonts. We don't have the functionality to upload your own fonts yet. We're working on that, and I'll probably put an update on this video when that happens. But choose any of the gazillion Google fonts that are here. And then so what this does for you, let me wait for this to load. I'm gonna pick a really crazy font here. We've got, we'll do, I don't know what, the Spirax or something. And then we'll delete NTR. So we'll confirm, right? So automatically you see fonts changing. So now that font's there. So what that means is when we're making changes here, it brings our default font to the top. So this didn't show up yet. There we go. Spirax is at the top, right? There's Spirax, right? Crazy looking font. Probably wouldn't have this here because you cannot read it. But so once we've chosen the fonts that we're going to use on our website, this is where we style the different elements. So we would go in and say, okay, we want all our paragraph fonts to be Spirax. We want our headers to be Spirax. If we had more than 1 font, we would just choose the ones that we want. And then for every type of header, we also have the options for letter spacing, the font size, as well as line height and text color. Right, so we would go through and take care of all these, make sure they're all the same. If we want our text links to be a certain color, we can indicate that here. Meaning if there's a link that's clickable, this would be yellow, and then it'll indicate that you can click it. And then this is basically the hover color. So if we hovered over a link, the color that it will show, and whether you want it to be underlined or not when you do that. And then, so this is for desktop. So we want to style the mobile as well, because it's going to be a different experience because you're using your finger and it's a smaller screen. So maybe you want your headers to be a little smaller, right? Just because you don't want it to take up the whole entire screen because you only have a little bit of space on mobile, right? So we can reduce the line height. You can see it in real time. And then if we go to heading 2, you go through, what you want to do is go through all of these, set them all to the font that you want, hit confirm, and then your global styling, everything will fall into place. Everything will fit into place. Let me get back to desktop here. I didn't go all the way through all of them, but once you set all your fonts, every piece of text throughout your website will change. And then when you write new text, the font that you chose will be at the top, so it's easy to just go ahead and switch the font to the one that you want that fits your brand. So that's how you style your website. And like I said, I would do this as your first step. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.